similar shot, the one Ronnie played. Less risk attached. Brilliant. One shot. Yeah, but not this time.
Fan Zhengyi 1.
Already, the signs are ominous.
One.
I suppose the miss on the cutback black by Fan, we can give him a
8.
something of a free pass on it, but at top level sport, that's the challenge. The further you go in a tournament, the higher the stakes are
9.
raised, the higher the standard is.
And this tournament fits Ronnie O'Sullivan like a glove.
40.
He's trying to reach the final of the Champion of Champions for the 6th time.
50. Thank you. 21. 22. 29. 30.
Superb.
$35. 36.
There's something about a semi-final of a champion of champions that gets the O'Sullivan break-building juices
72.
flowing. He's won 5 semi-finals in this tournament over the
70.
years. In 4 of those victories, he's made 2 centuries. And in a 5th, he made 3.
$80. 81. $88. 89. 96. 97.
4th century of this week, and preposterously, the 42nd he's made in the champion of champions over the years.
$105. 108. 112. 117.
Alan McManus, one of the great connoisseurs of world-class snooker, is sitting here just admiring.
Ronnie O'Sullivan,
The only mistake he
117.
made, and it had no consequence. When Fan Zhengyi missed the black, you thought something like that might happen. O'Sullivan doubles his advantage. 2-0. And as if to back up my argument, 15 seconds a shot for O'Sullivan so far.
Yeah, Stephen said in studio, such a ferocious front runner as Ronnie, that the other thing you know, he's not going to rest on any laurels while he's out there. Off again. A brilliant shot, that, isn't it? Just illustrating how difficult that was, and hardly any pocket to go at. Oh, that's unlucky. I suppose it's fair dinkum.
Ronnie O'Sullivan won.
Yeah, very unfortunate,
Fan
but
Zhengyi
let's
set.
call it one apiece. And the fortune stakes. Great pot.
One.
No one, Alan, not even O'Sullivan could have legislated for that.
8. 9. 12. 13.
There's a quarter of a century age gap, but also a chasm in experience. O'Sullivan has won 39 world ranking titles. Fan, 1. O'Sullivan's been in 134 ranking event quarterfinals. Fan has been in 2. What about last 32 appearances? Fan, just the 3. O'Sullivan, 214.
Yeah, this has been a good riposte. He's obviously been swamped the first couple of frames. Don't get too ahead of yourself. Don't try to make it happen as such. Just let it happen organically, if you like, just by the fact that he is playing good stuff anyway. So now getting to the key point now. Yeah, if he's come straight in that red, that's quite a bad error. So they got a bit of angle, but it kind of takes the blue out of the equation. So you would expect him to play for half ball green or brown. Yeah, so that's just asking a wee bit
26.
too much, I think. Just naturally let the shot dictate the shot that you play yourself. The angle he had was top it through, and he was guaranteed half ball green or brown. Tried to create something that wasn't really there. I can understand why he just didn't get through the cue ball as desired, but it's end of break.
$31. Fan Zhengyi, 31.
Just off straight. Played this shot a couple of nights ago, a few times actually, and got really close every time. Wasn't easy. Decent result.
that was high tariff, yes. But if there's been a comparative weakness in O'Sullivan's game this week, it has been potting from distance. Tonight, he's attempted 4, and he hasn't knocked in any of them. Break building, can't fault him.
One.
Now there's the tournament long pot success, 56% for O'Sullivan, slightly better for Fan. 56 isn't bad, just saying comparatively with the rest of his game.
Fan Zhengyi 1.
Yeah, that was very good. Lovely tuck in. The only problem, as ever, with a red near a cushion, Ronnie, expect to hit it at least within, well, 2 or 3 at the most. Only red he can leave is the one he's trying to lay on. And he's got it. Does he gamble here? The cross double, just looking at it, it's not really on. The cue ball should hit above the left corner. Yes, it was above the left corner. It wasn't really on, so he's trying to find a gap.
The crowd living every shot. It was the finest of contacts. Alan, I don't know whether it's a sighting tendency, but he's done that 3 times in this tournament. Pots of that ilk to that pocket and hitting them grossly thick.
Yes, it was a wee bit similar to that one we showed in the angle at the top of the programme, wasn't it? Where, as you say, Phil got it thick. Almost a kind of blind spot for him, but I don't know, maybe just probably been hypercritical. But yeah, it's a shot he tends to not play all that well. Of course, there was a lot of pressure on it. I think I'd like to feature about this tournament, the way the table's played, along the cushion, the pockets are not generous, but playable. So this 30-40 point lead doesn't count for an awful lot.
Oh, yes. 1.
Neil Foulds mentioned earlier this week that was the the major feature of Fan's triumph in the European Masters. His spotting from distance
Bramble.
was outstanding.
Five.
Played that beautifully as well. He's actually a wee bit unfortunate, this cut back red. Can he hold for black? Yeah, oh, very good.
6.
See, when you're playing a cannon like that, it's very easy to take your eye off the pot. So that was good concentration.
Thirty. $14.
Fan needs the black and one more red. Could have all been very different, of course. O'Sullivan was in first, knocked in the black and a red simultaneously.
$21. Fan Zhengyi, 21.
It's a mammoth task to pot 4 reds, 4 blacks and all the colours to force a respot where they are.
Yeah, just got to be smart about this. Didn't want to present a gift to Ronnie to peel off the 4 red blacks, as Phil said, because you look farther ahead, just things to be aware of, green and blue as they are.
One.
Yeah, well done. I think the first 3 shots of that little cameo break that he just made shows a lot about, tells you a lot about him. Good character, especially given, as I say, he'd been swamped the first couple of frames. So now that he's got a foothold, big frame coming up.
8.
Frame before the mid-session interval.
Nine.
In the European Masters final, Fan was stubborn. Every time O'Sullivan threatened, he repelled the challenge.
16.
And that's what he's been here, stubborn. You don't want to waste flukes in situations like that. Have them when they matter.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it, how snooker people think you get a fluke, you think, oh, no,
19.
you know, at a time like that, you don't need it. Of course, it shouldn't matter, but it feels like it does.
20.
Like golfers when they have a hole-in-one in a practice round at a tour event, they hate it. It's a waste.
$26. $28.
Yeah, and also from what I've been observing
31.
in this championship alone, he's not frightened of the top players. That is absolutely for sure. It's no way is he
35.
intimidated, frightened, any of those things. He'll fancy this job, no doubt about it.
40.
Everything that Alan has just said is so true. And that's why the next frame, the last before the interval, could be so important. Just joining us, Sullivan, with breaks of 89 and 117. Won the first two frames, but he was a little unlucky early in the third. Potted a tricky black, knocked in a red at the same time, and never really got a look in from there. Well, safety has been effective so far. Missed pink and a missed black in the first two frames were costly for him.
Foul on the miss. Fan Zhengyi 4. Back. Ronnie.
Should get it this time. The adjustment. That's slid as well, so he won't be playing it a third time.
Foul on the miss. Fan Zhengyi 7. Back. Okay, Ronnie. Fine. You felt it about this time.
He is. Hold your breath. He has been warned. He's got the red.
That was like a very good national hunt horse at the moment. Brave man's game.
Very clever. Using the black ball to stop the conventional safety shot. I mean, it's really straightforward to just drop on the bunch of reds.
That was asking an awful lot. You can see the pocket entrance was so narrow.
One.
Just used a wee bit too much pace. The cue ball wasn't able to spin away from the brown in time. Still shot to nothing.
Fan Zhengyi 6.
Yeah, here it is, cue ball trying to spin away. See it arcing, but just used a wee bit too much pace.
Purposely into the bunch with the reds. You would think the next mistake might be expensive.
That's absolutely out the top drawer. Keeping the cue ball fairly central means that Fan can't use the two reds on the right wing to his advantage. He can't do anything with them. But all he can do is try and lay the cue ball in the corner. They definitely believe in something. Just the question of how difficult whatever red Ronnie face wants to play. I think he's got the straightish one that goes top side of blue. Big shot this coming up, as Phil said, the way the reds are. Lots of reward and offer.
Actually said the next mistake could be costly. That was more inspiration. Great pressure shot, especially with the table. Not quite at his mercy, but certainly a table on which he could prosper.
6. Seven.
Yeah, if this was in practice, he might gamble on the two reds next to the black. Just a little soft sort of gathering cannon, just to encourage the black into a more open space, but it might be too risky. Going to build it the old school way. Something that Stephen Hendry had picked up on this week, actually. It's he doesn't tend to these days play the really attacking shot early on in a break. He likes to construct it in a certain way.
Ten. $17.
And this is the money shot. If he can get straight or just high of straight on the black,
8.
he's off and running. Yes, and a wee bit awkward, hampered.
$25. $26. $33. 34.
Yeah, Phil mentioned earlier about his long game this week, and he's right, it hasn't
41.
been up to the usual standard, but I suppose when you think about it, when he's in this sort of position,
42.
you're not playing in a 12 by 6 table. You're playing in one that's about 6 feet wide and about 4 feet deep, because the cue ball never seems to go any higher than that.
Yeah, a giant playing on a miniature surface.
49. 50. $57. 58. $65.
Yeah, so 2 reds needed for the 3-1 advantage.
66.
And it looks a formality now. And so the decision not to rush in looks like it's going to pay
71.
off.
Being sensibly circumspect.
72.
And to me, being very focused.
$79. 80.
When they met at Milton Keynes in February, the script was ripped up. Here, the form book is looking much more reliable.
85. 86. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 86.
No
And the
second century of the match for Ronnie O'Sullivan. The breaks of 89, 117 and latterly 86 at the half.
Actually, a good break-off shot, that. Saying at the mid-session interval there in the studio that, you know, it's not as if he hasn't had opportunities. He has had them, but they're not coming along all the time. I mean, he got in first in a couple of the frames, but he lost. Clearly a gulf between the real top players in this kind of environment and players who are just below, but I think everyone that's here has won an event. And I guess a young player's got to try and bridge that gap, which is not easy. A bit of a tempter here, they've had to the left middle. Not saying it's easy, looking at something else to perhaps take the cue ball up to bulk. But if he was to play to bulk, he'd have to move the other red, so he might find himself in a position where he may have to go for this one. Cue was heading up somewhere towards the yellow. Not nice, really, either way. The pop wasn't guaranteed and nor was position.
Now, and the cannon to yellow has left this red to the right middle.
1.
Right from year one of this champion of champions, Ronnie O'Sullivan clearly felt it was a tournament he could get on board with. Of course, he's won it 3 times, twice runner-up, looking for his 6th final in 9 appearances.
Six. Seven.
Well, he certainly made sure he got top side of the blue. He's gone a little too far, in fact. Of course, the table, it won't be to his liking with the black tied up, but he's trying to find ways to engineer that into open play. A
12.
little grimace. He's not on it particularly appealing to get onto a colour from here. It's a bit straight. That's probably as far up the table as he could have managed, but with the yellow away from its spot, the up and down not so difficult. Question of which red he plays on though. From the left side, not a great deal will go. It's a great effort to finish on that red
18.
left-handed, but he just came a little bit too far to the right. That's why he's using the rest. Not an easy table still. Playing some good shots. That was a nice cannon once
25.
again on that pink.
$26. $31. $32.
It's a bit thin on the blue to play into the reds. It's not a natural angle. He could make it into it. He's done quite well to make as many as he has from where the balls have been. That's another top shot, isn't it, positionally? A break that seems never to end. Just when you think it's about to.
39.
Well, he might go into the reds here. He's got an angle to disturb them. Got to force it. This time, the break is over.
45.
Made some brilliant breaks in his career. This 45 break hasn't been bad, I can tell you. Without anything ever on.
Ronnie O'Sullivan,
Yeah, in the
45.
end, he just needed to get on one, didn't he? Which he didn't. Otherwise, that could have been prime over. Fan really is clinging on by his fingernails here. Different sort of vibe, of course, to when they played in that final last season, because in a final there's a trophy waiting. This is different. This is to get into the final. Crowd have been watching O'Sullivan with great interest and great admiration. And if they have tickets for tomorrow, and it is O'Sullivan-Trump, that's going to be some day. A rematch of the World Final.
Wow, unlucky. He hit it quite well. Because you've got no control over the red that you miss. He thought it was a fairly safe way to play it. And you see the red just double kissed the cue ball and gone close up to the yellow pocket.
One. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 1.
Well, as if he wasn't in enough trouble.
He didn't quite play that nudge at the very end of it. But like you say, he's in all kinds of trouble here. It's a horrid snooker. We've got to go across the table twice, I should think. Just wonder if there is a way halfway up that right cushion to get into the reds, but even then, you know, you don't really want to hit one and leave one on. Think about trying to zigzag the cue ball across left to right and in behind the red down on the black cushion, but as I'm saying it, I'm not having to play the shot. No wonder he's taking a bit of time on it. I think he's got to swerve it into the first cushion. It's just horrible. That's a bit of a shame. It was quite a good effort, but going that side of the red was the worst scenario.
So O'Sullivan 50 to the good, with a chance for 4-1.
1.
Just been completely businesslike this evening, looked really focused. Because of course he knows firsthand how well Fan Zhengyi can play.
Seven. Eight.
I think at the very last second he looked at that possibility of that two-ball plant. The only two reds, of course, available to the left corner anyway, and he needs one more red.
40.
So it looks like another frame has gone pretty quickly.
Having the red cleaned. Yes, he's not making really unforced errors, is he? He's on all departments looking strong. So this is for 4-1. Of course,
15.
matches can be won from this position, but it's going to take some turnaround. Fan is going to need some help. He's going to need O'Sullivan to start to miss and make mistakes.
Which doesn't really look like happening. He's fairly aggressive with his shot selection.
21.
You know, when he's had to play safe, he's done so
22.
immaculately. May have, in a roundabout way, done him a favour that he'd already lost to Fan Zhengyi. Not going to take him lightly.
28. 29.
It could be another chapter in the O'Sullivan-Trump rivalry. Doesn't seem that long, does it, since
35.
Ronnie was holding on to Judd in the Crucible at the end of that World Final.
36.
And he's starting to produce here some of the form that won him that 7th Crucible crown in the spring.
$43. 44. $50. 52. 55. Ronnie O'Sullivan.
So it was a pretty horrible
and the
snooker.
frame.
Fan found himself in. He left the red. O'Sullivan has made 55, and he needs just 2 more for victory, leading. To stand any chance, Fan surely has got to keep him on 4 as long as he can. Try and apply some pressure. In that European Masters final, of course, it was a longer match. It was best of 19. He made 2 centuries, 5 half-centuries, Fan, so he scored really heavily during the day. His highest break tonight, though, is only 40.
One.
On that day, when he made all those breaks in that final, he knocked a number of those in as well. 25 minutes of playing time since he last potted a ball. Must get in early here and put some pressure on his opponent.
Green ball. Four.
Awkward queuing, I'm afraid, on this one. It was a better
5.
shot than it looked. Well played.
He's got himself in nicely. He's got to, though, do the damage now. Had a great tournament, of course, to get in the event. It was impressive enough, but then to beat Neil Robertson, no one really fancied him there, and won a terrific match with Ryan Day. Really entertaining.
$30.
In a couple of days' time, he'll be at Ponds Forge in Sheffield, attempting to qualify for the final stages of the UK Championship. Our own Ken Doherty is there now, actually.
20.
I'm suspecting it's not quite the same atmosphere.
as it is here. 21. $26. $27.
That's not too bad. I don't think anything from the right of the where the pink is on that side goes towards the left pocket. So he's got to dig down on this a bit. Get straighter down the centre of the table with the cue ball. They're not easy shots, those, to hold. Trying to kill the cue ball with backspin. And it just drifted on too far. Shame he couldn't have perhaps opened the reds up, but perhaps that was too difficult from where he was. Did neither one thing nor the other there.
Fan Zhengyi, 32.
It's not going to hurt O'Sullivan, 32 from there, but it's at least a start. He's got a good long leg. No pop intended, but the red has drifted a little too far. The crowd liked it, but I'm not sure O'Sullivan is all that keen. Little tempter again.
One.
In the middle of nowhere, he's finished. Now I get the feeling he's going to put O'Sullivan in the kind of trouble that perhaps he was in that previous frame.
Fan Zhengyi, 1.
I think he could have done better there. O'Sullivan can get to the edge of the bunch, I believe. Tight, but perhaps he can. Yeah. There was a situation where Fan Zhengyi should have done better. He had to put O'Sullivan in some trouble, and now he's in a bit himself.
cue ball just kept running, but his long potting was commented on earlier. That was nothing wrong with that one. Shot to nothing, of course.
Yeah, now if he's playing in behind the brown, he wants to cut off the right cushion because there is well, certainly an easier escape into those 3 reds below the black, unless that side of the table's covered.
Ronnie,
He's quite done it. Not if the middle pocket is in the way at all of getting down towards those 3 reds. He's coming off a couple of cushions here. Maybe it's playing the little glance. Not easy if he is. Difficult shot, this. Oh dear. That's the one thing you cannot do on that shot, is hit too much of it. Almost better off to miss it and get a feeler for the shot. It looked as if it was a pretty dangerous shot to take on. Options were thin on the ground, mind you.
So this lead doesn't look too much now,
1.
is it? Just 32. That's why he could have done with making a lot more when he got in. He got in well early in the frame, but couldn't keep it going.
Six. 7. $40. 50.
Well, the top red of the 3 just creeps past the others to the right corner.
22.
Yeah, goes.
23.
Sullivan seems to be aware that he'll need all of these reds, so he's considering shots, getting the other 2 into play. And other players perhaps would have taken the reds in the middle of the table earlier when he's on the attack.
30.
Needs all 4 reds. With high value colours as well.
$31.
Otherwise he'll have to pop the yellow, which I'm sure he could do, but he felt he didn't need it. Three red blacks will be enough here.
36.
5 snookers.
Yeah, he's worked all that out, hasn't he?
37.
Just, as I say, just looks really sharp in general. He's really focused hard. He's here to do a job this evening. And the job's nearly done. He's just glancing at the scores again. 2 reds, 2 blacks.
44.
28 in front with 27 on.
45.
This is where the scoreboard comes into play.
52.
Red-black is the sort of match play shot here. Eliminates any
53.
chance that he could miss the yellow. He took the lower value colour. He's all over Fan Zhengyi at the moment. It's not dissimilar in the way it's
6.
going to the match against Zhao Jintong the other night.
62.
Yeah, I mean, Fan got in well, but he only made 32, and it's just not any sort of lead, really. green stays out, so it's 2 snookers
Ronnie
needed.
O'Sullivan, 62.
Break ended rather unexpectedly at 62.
Yeah, it's potentially a dangerous table. If it was someone like Mark Selby walking to the table now, you'd be worried. I'm not saying that Van can't get the snookers, but you know what I'm saying. Certain players are more proficient than others. If he stays on the brown ball, it's 2 snookers. He's not really very threatening either way there, is he?
Fan Zhengyi,
Might have been better to pop the brown and get it on blue, pink and black.
It's just not his night, is it? Didn't get the snooker. And in goes the brown.
4.
So Sullivan on the brink of a meeting with Jeff Trump tomorrow.
Four and the frame. Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Yeah, Fan was in early, didn't make enough. O'Sullivan had it in that little snooker, and that made the difference. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 1 away, leading 5-1. Bit of champions. Well, it wasn't a bad flick, was it, actually? Thicker contact, it might have been trouble, but finished okay for O'Sullivan.
Pretty attacking safety shot. He played one of those towards the end of the match with Ryan Day. And Zhengyi, and it eventually won him the match, but depends if this goes in, I guess. It's the one part of his game, I think, at his age, where Ronnie's long game is not always as good as everything else in his game.
Not when they're at the table, please.
I don't think he's quite the best long potter in the game, but very often, you know, his safety and his break building completely makes up for it. Still not bad, though, as you saw. Just finished a little awkward here. This is a big shot. Crunched into the back of the pocket. He didn't quite make the ground up that he thought it would for the next red.
16 seconds a shot. He's not running around the table, but he's playing at very fast tempo.
5. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 5.
Well, the stage was set, wasn't it, for a kind of grandstand finish there with the reds in the open. Fancied maybe a century to win it, but he's missed this blue.
One.
Yeah, Yeah, the cue ball in that little break there was just running a little bit loose, more so than usual from O'Sullivan. Presented this chance.
8.
Overscrewed a bit there. Not bad. But straighter behind the pink would make the next positional shot much easier.
$14. 50.
With the pink spot occupied and obviously the black not quite in play, it's still going to be quite difficult for him to compile a big break here. If he could get the red off the black spot and get the pink back down there, that'd probably help him. Now, has he finished in the one position where he can pot the red by the black?
21.
There's not a lot of room, but you can get through.
$22.
Regardless of what happens here, it'll be interesting to see if he can, in the regular
29.
ranking events, find a bit of consistency, because after winning the European Masters, as we said several times, he performed very poorly. But he's come here this week and performed really well.
30.
I was just thinking that earlier, that this might do him good this match, win or lose. He's convinced himself that he belongs. A very good player. I think he's someone that thrives on confidence, because he looks so
36.
much more assured in that second match the other day against Ryan Day. It was a terrific game.
$37.
Playing O'Sullivan in a match like this in front of a big crowd, and that's as tough as it gets.
Well, this is now his highest break of the night. Needs to keep going. Unexpected miss from O'Sullivan on that blue. Just giving him some
43.
sort of hope here.
$44. $50. 51.
He's taken these well, considering the way he's been beaten up this
58.
evening, basically. So a couple of balls away from winning his second frame.
59.
And we said what he needed was two things. Firstly, to up his own game, but secondly, for O'Sullivan to make mistakes. And he did miss that blue to open the door. And Fan has very impressively charged through it.
66.
Yeah, I agree. It's been an
67.
excellent break, this, just the way that he's made it, the way he opened the balls up. It's almost like he's watched O'Sullivan and realised that he's going to have to start winning frames in one visit to compete, which is absolutely how it is.
73. $74.
Well, if nothing else, this will make him feel good. It's a big match, this. He wanted to perform. And this is the sort of snooker that's got him this far in the event.
$81. $82.
If you said a year ago which Chinese player will
89.
get to the semi-finals of the Champion of Champions, I don't think anyone would have chosen Fan Zhengyi. At that point, he hadn't done really anything.
90.
But, of course, he came good at the European Masters. He's come good this week with two really excellent victories over Neil Robertson and Ryan Day. And finally in this match, he's found his best game. It's going to be some effort to turn it round, but this is very encouraging the way he's won this frame. Seizing
96.
on that miss from Ronnie O'Sullivan.
98.
Yes, he's an improving player. I mean, there's no doubt. You just can see the confidence coming into his game.
101.
A good century break, that. Really well made.
105. 110.
Look at a bounce in his step.
Yeah, I think the shackles are off now, aren't they? It's just a question of let's go for it. And in this frame,
116.
he's been very impressive. Clearance of 123. Fan Zhengyi
123.
producing the snooker that
Fan Zhengyi.
got him into the Champion of Champions, got him into the semi-finals. He pulls one back. O'Sullivan's lead is cut to 5.
An immediate chance for O'Sullivan.
One. Six. Seven.
He certainly used the pocket there. It looked dead straight, but he got the cue ball down towards the red.
14. $50.
Yeah, a chance to play a little nudge off the bunch here. Oh, that's beautifully done. He didn't overhit it because he's more concerned that the cue ball staying on the red. Just brushed a couple of reds into play.
22. 23.
That gave him options. And that really
30.
has opened things up in the way that only he knows. Knew he'd be on this red.
31.
Even that was a good shot. Easy to go into the red you're trying to land on there on that.
38. 39. $46. 47.
I'm not sure that was how he played it to finish on the pink. I thought he probably tried to play on the black and was left with the pink to the middle. He's furious that the reds have all got in the way of each other. So he has to play safe. Very healthy lead.
Thank you.
But in playing
53.
safe, we'll have to protect that left-hand red here. Doesn't want to leave it on.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 53.
Decent 12th century. Good cue ball, but something to tempt Fan Zhengyi here.
Five-two down, 53-0 down to the 7 times world champion. Potentially one mistake from exiting the tournament. Yeah, didn't get too close.
The only red, I think, is the thin one. Into the left corner here.
One.
Still sometimes take for granted that his ability to play with the opposite hand. I mean, he screwed a red down the cushion earlier in the match with his left hand. You know, any left-hander would have been pleased with. And he's a right-hander.
6. Seven.
Well, that is surely that now. It looks like a world final rematch.
30.
What a Sunday we have in prospect.
14.
Yes, and many would argue that This is the first really big event since that World Championship.
$21. 22. $29.
And what a match that will
30.
be. They're both playing so well, aren't they? Judd Trump has been impressive this week. And while Ronnie O'Sullivan you always felt he was going to brush aside players put in front of him. I think he's done so in pretty emphatic style.
37.
Been pretty clinical, I think.
38.
It's always an intriguing rivalry. It feels like for about 10 years, Judd Trump has been trying to wrestle Ronnie O'Sullivan's crown away from him as top dog in the sport. And at times, you know, it looks like he might have done it. Then O'Sullivan has hit back, as of course he did at the Crucible.
44.
Want to really settle back and enjoy it.
45.
Crowd have enjoyed tonight, even though it's not been close. O'Sullivan
51.
has played to a high level, and Fan will regret just a few errors here and there, and Ronnie O'Sullivan going out on a high.
$55. 57.
The enjoyment this
60.
man has brought to people is as impressive as all the titles he's won. You look around the room, people smiling, enjoying this skill on show.
64. 69.
He made breaks of 89, 117, 86, 55, 62.
75.
82 to close if he puts the black. 75 will have to do. Ronnie O'Sullivan beats Fan Zhengyi by 6 frames to 2. So the final is the defending champion against the world champion. Is Judd